Hi everyone, it's dawn here in the south of France, and you can see ahead of me there's a poplar tree, and you can see that little dark dot up near the top. That is a magpie nest, and there are two magpies that are busy even now. Well, actually, they started work when I got out here, which was interesting. They were sitting on the top of the oak tree there, waiting, I think, to start work, perhaps having a chat because, magpies, or pea as they're called in France, are extraordinarily intelligent. They're one of the corvid family and very, very intelligent, and they mate for life. So they were probably having a chat about the day's work. But they have started building this nest about just over a week ago. I think they're nuts because it's a very tall poplar which blows a lot in the wind, and I don't know how the babies are going to fare in that. On the other hand, magpies probably know a thing or two about the season ahead that we don't, because normally they nest here in the oak tree, which seems to me a lot more stable. But anyway, this year they have chosen to nest here. Now, the interesting thing is that if they decide early on that the nest isn't quite right, they will move and they might go again to the oak tree. So I'm going to watch with great interest. Anyway, so what else am I doing? You can hear the birds and you can hear the early morning traffic. It's lovely, isn't it? And you can hear the pigeons. You know, the pigeons, which are to me the sound of summer, you can hear them even in the winter. And again, they mate for life. So we've got a pair, and I call them Dumb and Dumber because quite seriously, these idiot pigeons, they always try to nest up here in the wisteria, which we call a glycine here in France. You can hear them there. They're going dum, dum, dum. And they nest up there so that every time we open the front door here, they get flustered, they fly out, and then sticks fall to the ground, and they end up with their eggs on perhaps two sticks resting precariously. They really are thick pigeons. However, they will do about 7, 8 nests in a year. It's quite extraordinary. And they've been up here in the wisteria a lot lately, so I think they're scouting out the territory. What else have we got? We've got my Charlie. I don't know if you guys have been watching the Charlie Chronicles. Oh, reading my Charlie Chronicles. I've got to do an update. Here is the monster. He is my little crinimal. We call him a crinimal because he's the criminal we love to love, and he commits crimes rather than crimes. And he's scouting out around the garden, probably to check out which. He has ruined my lawn, everybody. So probably to check out which part of the lawn he's going to ruin next. There's the pigeons again. Aren't they gorgeous? Now look here. Aren't they lovely, the early spring bulbs? I love them. They're so pretty. You can see there the pink in that bed is actually their Christmas roses or hellebore. There's Charlie. Huh. I love that boy. So those Christmas roses have been spectacular this year. Actually, I'm not going to go any closer because I tend to lose connectivity not too far out of the house. But here you are. Isn't it lovely there? Oh, I'll tell you the story about this one. This is my beautiful weeping crabapple tree. And my little monster, Charlie, has worn a path, you can see here, through the plants, killing them, and actually topping one of my bulbs because he walks on this wall to get access to this wall so that then he will sit about here where you can see the ivy is all crushed, so he can look right through the kitchen window to see what I'm doing. So frankly, he's a little rat bag. But it's funny. It's so funny. We're in the kitchen and we look up and there he is looking mournfully through the window, and then we know it's time to let him in. So we say, Charlie, off the wall. And so he goes along the garden wall here and he goes straight onto my flowers and also the rocks. Now, we had this wall done at great expense last year, and we're going to have to get the top at least done, apparently with some sort of resin to make it really stick. I mean, this is a fossilized oyster shell. Isn't that wonderful? That we found in the garden. And look at this. Absolutely détruit, as they say in French. Destroyed. He is a little rat, but we love him. He's our little crinimal. What else can I show you? It's really nice. I see I've got full people joining, which is nice. Hello, Sean, Tangerine, Ethan, and Ava. I guess you're up very, very early in the American. Well, actually, you're up in the wee small hours, aren't you? You can't sleep because of the state of your country. And poor things, I'm so sorry. I do what I can in terms of I comment and I post, even though I'm an Australian living here in France. I care very much what's happening to your country, both because I love the United States and I really like Americans. Every American I've ever met has been incredibly welcoming and friendly. So, you know, I've got nothing but warmth and positivity for the American people. But this terrible state you're in because of electing, frankly, a tyrant. Philippe and I are actually reading at the moment a book. It's very, very interesting. It's by a female academic, and it's about women in ancient Greek history. It sounds a little obscure, but actually it's very, very readable and absolutely fascinating. And anyway, so you know, of course, that the word tyrant used to be a kind of friendly word for a nice king. Any kind of king was a tyrant, but it was, several sort of, probably not a millennia, but probably 500 years later, that it became a word that meant tyranny, and something that Trump seems to aspire to, that evil bastard, frankly. I call him the dumpster and the Trumpster in my notes, but when I get really cross with him, I call him the dumb fuck. No, I mean, I'm not inclined to say nasty words like that in my writing because I write for kids and, I just, I think there are words to use. However, for him, there's just no other words. No other words. It reminds me of when I was divorcing my first husband, and my ex was a piece. He still is. Anyway, so I was on the phone to my mother and I called him a bastard or something like that, which to me at that time was a bad thing to call him. No, I called him a shit, I think. And I said, whoops, sorry, Mum, I shouldn't have said that. And she goes, no, not at all, not at all. And she goes, John, what were some of those words you learnt in India when you were there as a, when you did officer training during the war? I mean, what a mother. She was a good one. She was trying to get me more words that were foul for my horrible ex. But let's not talk about that. Look at that. Now, my dears, when I see this, I remember that nature is good, that nature is adaptable. I think that human beings fundamentally are good, and I think they are adaptable as well. I think we're going to survive what's happening environmentally. I do. I think we'll adapt. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of these gorgeous things are going to die with. And, well, I don't know. If we go, all mammals will go. But insects will survive, and I think that a lot of plants will survive, probably not these beautiful little viola. Aren't they pretty? And just look at that and ask yourself if you're not glad to be alive. I find that my garden is where I go when things get on top of me, when I'm depressed about the state of the world, or I don't know, I've been very, very ill the last year. I don't know. I don't think any of you, I don't recognize your names, but I hope you will follow me or subscribe to me. You don't have to pay. You pay to be lovely. We need money. But anyway, look at these. Aren't they perfect? Now, this is God's creation, if you like. I don't believe in a God with a snowy white beard, but I do believe in a creator. And this is creation. And we can look at this and think, God is good. Creation is good. This planet is beautiful. And we are fundamentally good, and we can solve pathetic little problems like that tyrant Trump. Goodness knows the Greeks solved it, and, people of various... And the women, oh my God, the women were fantastic. I'm learning more and more about the amazing women of ancient Greece, who, of course, had a lot more influence and power than they're given credit for. They were also raped, and they were also made into slaves, but then so were men. Not saying at the same rate, obviously women far, far more than men, but I'm just saying that, some of the prostitutes, for example, became very, very important people in that time. They just had to brain. Okay, here's my Charlie. I'm very reluctant to show you. Oh, this is a glass house, which is going to go up as soon as Charlie, darling, it's not going to do your digestion any good. It probably won't do it any harm either. It's just cardboard. But yeah, so look at him. That whole thing is going to be divested of its cardboard cover by the time my little boy has finished eating it. It'll save us a lot of money on dog food. And this here, there used to be a gum tree here because being an Australian, of course, I had to have my little touch of Australia here in France. So I had this beautiful gum tree, but it was the one thing that didn't survive the chaleur, which is really interesting. Now, a chaleur is like a drought, and we get them now regularly in summer. But I think because it was potted and the earth simply became too hot, it did not survive. It died. And I was really sorry about that. It was a dear little tree. And I was in a plant shop down the road in our local town. And I saw from the slopes of Mount Wellington. Now, if any of you know me, Mount Wellington is it's where I was born. I mean, it's the house I lived in. On Mount Wellington, we lived on. Basically, I said the internet connection is unstable. I'm sorry, guys. That's better. Okay, so yeah, so there's the pot over there, and there's Charlie peeling away the cardboard cover of the glass house that will go up. But yeah, where was I? Okay, so the tree. Yeah, Mount Wellington. It's I grew up on the slopes of Mount Wellington. If you have a look at my biography for my children's books, and we had a menagerie of animals, and we had beautiful bushland. And I do miss the Australian bush. I must admit, there's something incredibly magical about it, and in particular the birds. Oh my God, the bird life of Australia is incredible. It's unique. It's what can I say? I mean, it's you've got lyrebirds. You've got butcherbirds whose song is the most lyrical you've ever heard. I mean, forget blackbirds, butcherbirds are extraordinary. You've got honey eaters of all descriptions. You've got migratory birds that come in from the north. The only other place I would say was parallel for birds was Hong Kong, which was extraordinary for birds because that's on the flight path from Siberia and from Tibet and so forth, coming right the way down to Australia. And we saw, beautiful birds up there. There were the local birds like the minivets. Isn't that a beautiful word? Minivets, scarlet minivets and golden minivets, golden orioles. But we also had these incredible migratory birds that came down. There was a particular blue one, and I've posted about it. If you look at my post about Hong Kong and about the terrible fires in Tai Po, you'll see a picture of a bird that we saw within feet of us. It was like a movie star, a very beautiful, quite rare bird, and it was migrating down through Hong Kong. I'm going to turn this around so you can see me, so I can say hello to all of you. Hi, guys. Hello. I'm looking a bit fluffy. These are my new glasses. I hope you like them. I was quite chuffed because in the town where we got them, the new optician there, so lovely. He didn't tell me until I'd bought them that he'd designed these glasses, and I think they're rather special. They're rather good. You may not like them, but I love them. Anyway, now, what else? I think that's probably all I can do today. Let me see what else. I'll tell you about. Here's my little. Hang on. I'm turning this round. Have a little look here. Can you see that this is a bit like Alcatraz, surrounded by its. You know who that's against, of course. It's against the criminal, Charlie, because, of course, he used to stand here and look through the kitchen window to say, Mum, 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 can you let me in? And he crushed all of the pansies. And you can see there's a survivor. And then there's another survivor. And these ones are in recovery. And it's taken quite a few months, but I've got bulbs in here as well. I've got these gorgeous little, and they're pretty. They're called grape hyacinths in English. I'm not sure what they're called in French. But they're gorgeous. There's even a little new one coming up there, which I found very cute. But yeah, so that's why that is Alcatraz. And I've got 3 poppies. Not poppies. Yes, poppies coming up. And look, there's a bud there. Charlie, what are you doing? Say hello. Charlie, say hello. Charlie, say hello. Gorgeous. Darling. Hey, Baba. Charlie has this weird habit of, he likes eating rocks. He doesn't actually eat them. He doesn't actually swallow them. He just chews on them. He's a very strange dog. but it certainly makes it cheap to, we don't have to worry about buying him toys too much. Anyway, he destroys them. See Charlie Chronicles. Oh, by the way, I'm going to post one well, I'm hoping to do one today. I haven't posted for a while, but I want to do one about Charlie and Xi Jinping, the panda. Now, you guys, you may not be aware that Xi Jinping, well, I hope you are. I think you probably are aware. He's the absolutely tyrannical and horrible despot who is the chairman of the Communist Party in China. And he, like Trump, he's declared himself emperor. Trump will do that soon enough. He certainly admires all other despots, and Trump kind of admires him, I think, because he's his kind of guy. But anyway, in the same way that he is Putin's lapdog, frankly. But anyway, so I was going to tell you, gosh, sorry, look, this is my ADHD brain. I'm sorry, I lose the track. Maybe one of you will remind me. Can you message me on this? You can message me and tell me what I was talking about. Oh dear, that's a jasmine, by the way, everybody. I've got some bulbs here. They're very early jonquils. You can see they didn't do much and they died. They grew leaves and they died. So I think they probably don't like the soil. It's very interesting with some bulbs. I bought 200 bulbs last year and planted 160 of them. Yes, you can guess. The other 40 I did not plant. You know why? Because I wanted to plant them in the lawn, and you know who would dig. And I had I was trying to collect plastic, very good use of plastic. I was trying to collect plastic pots of yogurt and things like that, and I was going to cut out the bottoms, and then I was going to get some tent pegs, and I was going to plant a bulb and then put the pot over the top so it could see the sunlight and Charlie couldn't get in. But I never got around to doing that. But if anyone else has a better hint for how you plant bulbs in the lawn when you have a dog which is known for being a little digger, Charlie, no. Oh gosh, now he's at more cardboard. Here's all this is for the déchetterie or the local dump, and it's got all my plants in it and big plastic bags and things. Charlie, no. Darling, no. Charlie, no. You're going to leave it all over the lawn. You'll leave it all over the lawn. No. You silly boy. Look at the look on the face. Oh, he says, oh, Charlie, no. Come on, come with me. Come with me. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Here he is. Charlie's saying, hi, folks. Come on, Bubba. Okay, aren't these gorgeous? Oh, I do love them. Now, these are narcissus, as you know, and the smell is quite heavenly, and it just wafts as you go by. I'm not that keen on the pink. I prefer the blue, but I think actually they're quite fetching this year. And they're in what I call my Renoir garden, because these are all irises which divide and divide and divide. And they're all beautiful, sort of purpley blue. And when the roses here come out, which there won't be too much longer now, this one does sort of deep pinky, pale pinky with gold, small roses. And this is Papa Mayand, I think it's called, and it's got these big, heavy heads, absolutely stunning heads of roses, but no scent, which is sad, but interesting. You can't have everything. Well, you can with some roses, but anyway. So here, this becomes a sea of pink and yellow and beautiful. And then all these come out as my Monet roses. Quite incredible. I hope you're enjoying this tour late at night in the United States. This is a happy accident. I love happy accidents on your garden. And this is one. This is just a dear little plant that planted itself in the wall with the ivy. Isn't it just delectable? And we have here, look, this is a briar rose or a kind of wild rose. You can see this here, and this will drape down this wall, and I get just an entire sort of a lovely fall, if you like, of roses. And they're sweet-scented. And I tell you what, the time to visit this garden is in May, because in May, this here at the back, I'll show you more closely. This is a May tree. A May tree's blooming, May. And it has this orange, it's actually a mock orange or a May tree. So it has this incredible scent. So this just floats over the garden in waves. Quite incredible. And here's my darling little, this is a maple tree, a very pretty little one, which I actually potted. It was in the garden when we got here, and it was in the wrong place. I mean, it was right in the middle of a garden bed, and I thought, so I put it in this old pot I found. And it's magnificent, and every year it just adorns this part of the garden. It's simply beautiful, and it seems to be resistant to shallow to heat and to cold. It's incredible. Charlie, no, Charlie. Baba, no, you naughty boy. You're a naughty boy looking at my used herb. You're a naughty boy. You're a naughty boy. This is gorgeous in summer. This is my corner for hortensias and hydrangeas, and they're beautiful. I'm not that keen on pink hydrangeas. So what I've got here actually is white and green, and and they're all different. They've got these panicles, if you like, of very pretty flowers. So that's quite stunning. Charlie, no. Come on, Charlie, come with me, darling. Oh, and I just wanted to mention these irises here. Now, these irises, I bought the corms. They're called corms. It's like a bulb, and I bought them at a strawberry fair near here, 2 years ago. And the first year they came up with just one flower each. But look what's happened. Just in a year, they spread. And they say you've got to plant them this far apart because these will spread across the whole garden. And I've planted them in order of how they're going to look as colours together, but also because some flower later than others. And so I want them I want this bed at some stage always to be in flower. So it's a science, this gardening thing. And it's good fun. I hope you guys aren't getting bored. I don't think you are because you're still here, which is lovely. Hello, Bernadine. Bernadine, I like the way you spell your name. Bernadine Beaumont. It's lovely. Okay. I think there's nothing more I can tell you about. I'm probably going to go in and, the reason I'm up early is because we take it in turns with young Charles. Because Charlie, he sleeps in the kitchen. Charlie, look at this. This is his prey for the day, and it's going to get scattered all over the garden. Thankfully, it's compostable, and I'll just and that's his breakfast. He's barely touched it, but he wants to chew at cardboard. He's a very temperamental, quite bizarre, very strange, just like his mother. Charlie, I'm his mother. I was told once by a fortune teller on Blackheath in London that I was going to have 2 daughters and a son, and guess what I got? 2 daughters and this little one, who's a sausage dog, frankly, because he produces on a regular basis. I have a book for kids I wrote, and I talk about the grots, who are these nasty characters, and they grind up puppies for sausage meat. Well, this one is a puppy that grinds up everything into sausage meat that comes out his rear end. Ayah, Charlie. Ayah. Ayah. That's what you say in Hong Kong. I lived there for 23 years, and that's what you say. Ayah. Oh, these are my herbs. Might survive the winter, or most of them have. This one is obviously my rosemary, absolutely gorgeous, and it's strong and powerful as ever. This one is a strange little one. It was recommended to me by a French woman at the supermarket I was at, and they were selling these herbs, and it's good with omelettes, apparently. Now, we've tried it with omelettes. It's okay. But what's good about it, of course, is it's a really good source of iron, so we'll have it anyway. Here is my this is my ordinary thyme, which I'm going to have to pull out some of the dead wood, but it's in good shape. This parsley survived the winter, would you believe? Normally parsley does not, but this particular parsley did. I'll have to plant a couple of others here. Here is my beautiful chives. Now, these chives come up year after year after year after year after year after year after year, and they're looking very good. We have beautiful omelettes here because I basically, I say to my husband, look, just get me any herbs, take your pick. He loves these ones. Now, this here is tarragon. And there's a beautiful recipe that we have. It's a French recipe for poulet estragon or tarragon chicken. It's divine. I've never quite mastered the sauce, but the taste is gorgeous. I mean, the sauce always goes a bit lumpy and fatty, but I'm going to master that this year. But look at this. Now, this dies down to absolutely nothing. And again, I thought it was an annual. It's not. It's clearly a perennial. And it comes up year after year. And here it is with its absolutely sublime flavour. And my Philippe, he loves having tarragon with anything, really, which is interesting. And it does make a different taste. This here is another thyme. Hang on. No, this isn't. Hang on. Where is it? No, I think this must be my oregano. Let me taste it. I will tell you in a second. Yep, that's oregano. So this is really good with tomato dishes. I'm a bit surprised, actually, because normally it has a bigger leaf, but I haven't. Oh, no, this might have been where the oregano was. I don't know. I don't know. That might be another time. Whatever it is, it's nice to eat. And look at my bulbs here. Now, this I reserve for basil. And the reason why, when the basil grows up here, it goes up this tall. And when you open the window in the morning, the smell of basil goes right through the room. It's quite beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. And these were snowdrops, the first signs of spring coming out in January, and they all die down. But I've got these beautiful little violas here, and then once all that has died back, that's the time to plant the basil, because obviously it has to be planted when things are warm. This is our heat pump, pompe à chaleur. It's a very good environmental, it's bad environmentally in the sense it makes a lot of noise, but in the country you can get away with that. We don't hear it inside the house, or we hear a tiny burr. What it does, though, is amazing. It is run on electricity. Well, that's what powers it, but the pump itself, it takes in cold air and makes it into hot air inside in our usual central heating, the bar heaters on the wall, not the bar heaters, not like electric bar heaters, the heavy heaters, the iron sort of things you put on the wall, and they get heated with water flowing through them. So what this does is it pumps heat into the water that flows through that, and it also powers our hot water for our showers, and our baths. So it's very, very good indeed. We had one complaint from a neighbour who was very fussy, and you know what? She complained that she found it hard to sleep at night because she sleeps with the windows open right through winter. And she has another bedroom at the other side of the house. I said, well, why don't you swap bedrooms? And she said, oh, I don't want to. And I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute. You don't want to swap bedrooms, but you want us to stop heating our house so that you can sleep at night. I mean, frankly. So anyway, I just looked at her. I gave her what my mother used to call an old-fashioned look. It's the sort of look I give my husband when he said something very silly indeed. Now, and normally he's not silly at all, he's quite brilliant. Now, here, these are raspberries, and they are double fruiting. So they will fruit in summer, and they'll also fruit in autumn. And they're doing so well. They're absolutely flourishing. You plant them. When I planted them, I put in donkey poo. They love donkey poo. We had to they like horse poo, and we found a donkey. And a very nice Canadian woman who lives nearby, she let us have a sack of it for nothing. So I gave her an orange cake. And it's just done so well, and it's doing better and better every year. And this I'm very proud of. So you see, that's our wisteria. You can hear the heat pump now. It's a bit noisy, but it will stop soon. I hope you can still hear me. Anyway, so this is our wisteria, or glycine. And one day, our predecessors who owned this house before, they had across here, they had one lines, and it came off that metal grid there. But it was to be there to whatever vine was going. Wisteria growing round about here. I waved my hand in that direction. Charlie, get out of the garden. Out now. Out of the garden. Come on, Charlie, out of the garden. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. He's only digging bare earth at the moment. It's our veggie soil. Off. Good boy. Anyways, to come back here. So I just sort of waved in that direction, and it's like nature listens to you, because up came some sprouts of wisteria. So obviously a pod of seeds had fallen down here, and that very year. So I trained it up, and I brought it down to just 2, right? And I'm training it up because I want it to look like that one there, and it's already spreading itself up here and going across here. And if I was courageous enough to get up a very tall ladder, I would kind of train these more, but I think they're going to grow that way anyway. I want them to grow right over there. So the whole wall is going to be wisteria. But we just found that the grapes were very average, and the wasps were not. There were wasps coming down whenever we ate outside because they fed on the grapes here. And so you can see here, this is grapevine mixed with wisteria. So we just basically chopped back the grape because it was pretty old and manky anyway, left this here because it's quite beautiful, and trained the wisteria across, and it's almost the whole way across. So that's the way you do it. So I was very pleased with that. And we've only been here 5 years, so it's really all working very well. And okay. I'm going to farewell you with one last little comment. Now, isn't she lovely? I call her Gaia. And Gaia was given to me by a neighbour. She didn't know how to sew particularly well, and she bought a dress, and I hemmed it up for her. And she gave me this, which I thought was extraordinarily generous and will last far longer than the dress probably. But isn't she lovely? And so I call her Gaia because she looks out on our beautiful garden. And she looks at Miss Molly over there, where you can see there's a small dog. Charlie, get off the garden. Oh, and can you see the wheelbarrow? Behind that, there's a statue. And I call her Miss Molly, and she belonged to my mum and dad. They weren't really into garden statuary, but they saw her one day and fell in love, and I don't blame them because she's quite exquisite. And I'll see if I can. No, I can't. I can't move the screen. But yeah, so she's almost asleep. She's very sweet. She looks to me very French. She looks like a Renoir painting or something like that. So she has come home. She travelled with all our stuff from Australia, went to Hong Kong. The Australian stuff was amalgamated with the Hong Kong stuff. The Hong Kong stuff, it all travelled via Korea. I don't know why. All the way around to France. And this piano, can you believe that? Incredible. But she now sits there and gazes at the garden and reminds me of my beloved mum. Anyway, my dear Substack friends, it's been lovely spending some time with you this morning. And I guess I'm going to go now and go in and make some brekkie. I've had my coffee. My husband will be down soon. We take it in turns, that's right, to get up with Charlie, because unless you get up at the right time with Charlie, he tends to do things in the kitchen which I don't really want to talk about, but one's called a poo and the other one's called a wee. So, yeah. Sorry about that unsalubrious note. There's a magpie flying from the nest, going off in search of twigs. Anyway, I'll just leave you with the birds, with me not talking, just for a second. Is it not beautiful? And you know what? You too can live in France. The French are very welcoming to people coming in. All you have to do is fulfill their requirements in terms of going to classes about French culture. And you have to be a good citizen, and you can't have a criminal. Going mad. So, I mean, I'm lucky because my husband's French, but we have Australian friends down the road. We have American friends. We have friends of all nationalities who come here not knowing a word of French. You pick it up quite quickly, and there are certain parts of France where you can get away with not speaking French, which frankly I think is disgraceful because I think it behoves one to speak the language of the country that you're living in. But obviously, there are people who take French classes. There are others that simply don't bother. And frankly, I think they're shameful human beings. They're the sort of people that come here because they want to live in France because it's cheap. And they want to live in France because the food's excellent. And they want to live in the south of France because it's good weather. So they want all those things, but they don't want to have to deal with the French. OMG. And I have sat at tables with these people where they talk about the French as if they are another race. And they talk about the French and what a problem they are. Look, Charlie has just gone. Charlie, are you looking for Daddy? Is Daddy in the kitchen? Is Daddy in the kitchen? Charlie, you naughty boy. He must be. Where is he? No, yes, he is. My darling is in the kitchen. Hello. He doesn't really like his face on the internet, so you didn't see much of it. And there's Charlie. Knew he was in there. They can smell you from the other side of the house. We sleep right on the other side of the house, upstairs. Charlie's downstairs in the kitchen. We're upstairs in the opposite corner of the house. And our dog psychologist, to whom we went because Charlie has some issues, not his fault, told us that a dog knows when you get up because apparently you exude a certain hormone when you get up, and a dog can smell it. And so he must have known. He must have smelt my darling. Wow, through the window. Look at him. Look at him. He's looking at Daddy. He's looking at Daddy. He's saying, "Where's my daddy? Where's my daddy? Where's my daddy?" And look at that little nose all a quiver. He's beautiful. Okay, I'll leave you just for 1 minute with the birds, just to enjoy this and yeah, and realize that you too can live in France. That's what I wanted to say to you. If it's just getting too much for you in the States, come and live in France. Not too many. we don't want to, we don't want too many people coming, but you can come and be special because people on Substack are special anyway, so they're allowed to come, in my opinion. You only make the world a better place, you guys. That is, those of you that didn't vote for Trump don't like Trump, hate everything he stands for. The rest of you can go jump in a lake. Sorry, I know it's rude, but it's true. I have no time for the Trump supporters at all. I met one the other day. Oh my God. And I didn't realize he was until the last minute. And then I looked at him and he looked at me and he realized I realized. And he said, bye. And I said, bye. Oh gosh, the words I could have used for him, but I didn't. I was polite, as one must be. With people one disagrees with, even if they approve of the death of democracy. Well, they don't know. They are dumb fucks, basically, just like the person they adulate and the person they elected. Anyway, so I can only see here on my screen, I've got Sean, Tangerine, Ethan, Ava, Bernadine, and there is a sixth person, which I wish I could say hello to, but I can't scroll you. Let me see if I can scroll on the screen. No, I can't. So sixth person, you can be like the unknown soldier. I send you my love. I send you all my love. I send you all encouragement for your day ahead. I do hope it's lovely. And find something beautiful in it, just even if it's a flower or bird song or something. Remember, the world is a beautiful place. You're going to get through this. You really are going to get through this. And you're going to do it with hope. And read Jaden Goodall's Book of Hope. You have to have hope, but also action. You guys have got to be action. And I'm sure you are because you're all on Substack. But get out there, protest, and fight the tyranny. Because what is it? Evil flourishes where dead men stay silent, which is why I can't stay silent, because not where dead men stay silent. What am I saying? Evil flourishes where good men stay silent, and I'm a good man. I generally phrase that as evil flourishes where good men and women stay silent, and I put women before men because it's about time we did. Sorry, guys, if you're not feminists, but I am. So evil flourishes where good women and men stay silent, and I know you're not because you're on Substack. Anyway, Charlie, say goodbye to these lovely people. Say bye-bye. Say bye. Bye-bye. Isn't he beautiful? Most beautiful dog in the world. Most beautiful criminal in the world. Pardon me. Sorry, it's winter time. Anyway, okay. Bye. I'll just turn it around and say goodbye to you all. Bye. Oh, you can see my glasses. They go dark my new glasses. They go dark in the light, which is great. Really saves your eyes, but I'll take that off and say bye-bye.